with the fourth shloka of important ones of 108 shlokas. So this is second chapter, 12th verse. So before we begin, we'll start with the prayers. Kindly join me. नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So starting न त्वयैवाहं जातु नासं न त्वं नेमे जनाधिपाः न चैव न भविष्यामः सर्वे वयम् अतः परम्. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these things, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. Purport. In the Vedas, in the Katha Upanishad, as well as in the Shvetashvatara Upanishad, it is said that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the maintainer of innumerable living entities, in terms of their different situations, according to individual work and reaction of work. That Supreme Personality of Godhead is also by His plenary portions alive in the heart of every living entity. Only saintly persons who can see within and without the same Supreme Lord can actually attain to perfect and eternal peace. Nityo nityanam chetanaschetananam ego bahunam yo vidadati kaman tam atmastham ye anupashyanti dhiras tesham shantihi shashvati netaresham. It's from Katha Upanishad. The same Vedic truth given to Arjuna is given to all persons in the world who pose themselves as very learned but factually but have but a poor fund of knowledge. The Lord says clearly that He Himself, Arjuna, and all the kings who are assembled on the battlefield are eternally individual beings, and that the Lord is eternally the maintainer of individual living entities, both in their conditioned as well as in their liberated situations. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the Supreme Individual Person, and Arjuna, the Lord's eternal associate, and all the kings assembled there are individual eternal persons. It is not that they did not exist as individuals in the past, and it is not that they will not remain eternal persons. Their individuality existed in the past, and their individuality will continue in the future without interruption. Therefore, there is no cause for lamentation for anyone. The Mayavadi theory that after liberation the individual soul, separated by the covering of Maya or illusion, will merge into the impersonal Brahman and lose its individual existence is not supported herein by Lord Krishna, the Supreme Authority. Nor is the theory that we only think of individuality in the conditioned state supported herein. Krishna clearly says herein that in the future also the individuality of the Lord and others, as it is confirmed in the Upanishads, will continue eternally. This statement of Krishna is authoritative because Krishna cannot be subject to illusion. If individuality is not a fact, then Krishna would not have stressed it so much, even for the future. The Mayavadi may argue that the individuality spoken of by Krishna is not spiritual but material. Even accepting the argument that the individuality is material, then how can one distinguish Krishna's individuality? Krishna affirms his individuality in the past and confirms his individuality in the future also. He also confirmed his individuality in many ways, and impersonal Brahman has been declared to be subordinate to him. Krishna has maintained spiritual individuality all along. If he is accepted as an ordinary conditioned soul in individual consciousness, then his Bhagavad Gita has no value as authoritative scripture. A common man with all the four defects of human frailty is unable to teach that which is worth hearing. The Gita is above such literature. No mundane book compares with the Bhagavad Gita. When one accepts Krishna as an ordinary man, the Gita loses all importance. The Mayavadi argues that the plurality mentioned in this verse and is conventional and that it refers to the body. But previous to this verse, such a bodily conception is already condemned. After condemning the bodily conception of the living entities, how was it possible for Krishna to place a conventional proposition on the body again? Therefore, individuality is maintained on spiritual grounds and is thus confirmed by great acharyas like Sri Ramanuja and others. It is clearly mentioned in many places in the Gita that the spiritual individuality is understood by those who are devotees of the Lord. Those who are envious of Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead have no bona fide access to the great literature. The non devotees approach to the teachings of Gita is something like bees licking on a bottle of honey. One cannot have a taste of honey unless one opens the bottle. Similarly, the mysticism of Bhagavad Gita can be understood only by devotees and no one else can taste it. As it is stated in the fourth chapter of the book, nor can the Gita be touched by persons who envy the very existence of the Lord. Therefore, the Mayavadi explanation of the Gita is a most misleading presentation of the whole truth. Lord Chaitanya has forbidden us to read commentations made by the Mayavadis and warns that one who takes to such an understanding of the Mayavadi philosophy loses all power to understand the real mystery of the Gita. If individuality refers to the empirical universe, then there is no need of teaching by the Lord. The plurality of the individual soul and of the Lord is an eternal fact, and it is confirmed by the Vedas as above mentioned. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मील्यतमेन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे. So here Prabhupada is mainly arguing with the philosophy of Mayavadis, uh, and there and he wants us to avoid read all the Mayavadi philosophies and explanation of the Gita, so we can to avoid uh, here Prabhupada says Mayavadi philosophy. Those who understand Mayavadi philosophy loses all power to understand the real mystery of Gita. So Mayavadis here is arguing their argument is that Arjuna in the previous verse uh, uh, bewildered by all the close connections like his guru and Bhishma Pitamaha, So he was bewildered and he was weakened so that he was not able to fight with those, and he approaches Krishna as the spiritual master. I mean, he accepts Krishna as his own spiritual master and he takes up the role of a disciple. And he says that he's uh, he has become weak, and now, and also Krishna in the previous verse also says that in the 2.11 says uh, he criticizes Arjuna or chastises him uh, because of because he was speaking, Arjuna was speaking like a learned man, saying that religious principles, uh, I mean, he was saying social and yeah, one second. Yeah, Arjuna was arguing that religious principles should be given more importance than politics or sociology. So Krishna condemns and says that soul having the knowledge of um, soul and super soul, matter, soul and super soul and the supreme is more, even more important than what he was arguing. So Mayavadi's philosophy is that Krishna was saying about the material connections, uh, and also they were saying that after um, the soul leaves the body, the it reaches and it reaches the impersonal Brahman, and it ceases to exist. So Prabhupada is saying that Krishna doesn't say that uh, in this one verse, right? So Krishna says that he has a separate spiritual identity, and all this Arjuna and the kings, everyone has their own different identity. So Krishna is not saying uh, that the soul will after uh, after leaving the body, material body, it reaches this impersonal Brahman. It doesn't say like that. So Krishna is saying everyone has their own individual identity, but Prabhupada is arguing that that individuality is not material, but it is on the spiritual platform. So he argues with the Mayavadi philosophy that they claim to be that individuality is material, and after the soul leaves the material body, it merges with the Supreme Brahman. But neither Krishna is saying those type of things in this shloka, and neither Prabhupada. Uh, Prabhupada is also on the same line as Krishna, arguing that it doesn't uh, merge with the Supreme Brahman and lose the identity, because the individuality is in the spiritual platform, not in the material platform. And Prabhupada also questions Mayavadis like Krishna is saying in the previous verse that body, soul, everything, body is a temporary thing, and how can he be saying that the individuality, uh, the one thing, the Mayavadi may argue that individuality spoken of by Krishna is not spiritual but material, even accepting the argument that individuality is material. Then here Prabhupada questions the Mayavadis like, then how can one distinguish Krishna's individuality? Krishna affirms his individuality in the past and confirms his individuality in the future also. He has confirmed his individuality in many ways, and impersonal Brahman has been declared to be subordinate to him. Krishna has maintained spiritual individuality all along. If he is accepted as an ordinary conditioned soul, the individual consciousness, then his Bhagavad Gita has no value as authoritative scriptures. So, a common man with all the four defects of human frailty is unable to teach that which is worth hearing. So Prabhupada is saying that Krishna is more than more than the impersonal Brahman, and he considers and he is declaring that impersonal Brahman is subordinate to Krishna, and is saying that the individual uh, common man who has all the four defects of human frailty is unable to teach that which is worth hearing. And uh, you guys can comment what are the uh, four defects of human. One is cheating, and other three you can you can comment it down. So here Prabhupada is also mentioning acharyas like Sri Ramanujacharya and others, is saying that they also agreed for this individuality is maintained on spiritual grounds and thus confirmed. These acharyas like Sri Ramanujacharyas, they have also considered this individuality is maintained on the spiritual grounds and not on the material one. So later, um, yeah, the non-devotees, Prabhupada gives an analogy comparing the non-devotees to be honeybee who are approaching the teachings of Gita, something like bees licking the bottle of honey from the outside. So they cannot get the essence of the honey when they're simply outside of the bottle, licking the bottle itself, and they are not trying to come and take the real taste of the honey. So similarly, the mysticism of the Bhagavad Gita can be understood only by the devotees, and no one else can taste it, as it is stated in the fourth chapter of the book. So only the devotees can be, and only the devotees and the people who are non-envious of Krishna, that is the devotees, can understand the Gita and Gita's mysticism. So non-devotees are cannot understand the Gita's true essence, nor can be the Gita touched by the persons who envy. As I said, those who are non-envious, they can understand the Gita, and therefore Prabhupada concludes this purport by giving the reference that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has forbidden us to read commentations made by the Mayavadis, and also he wants us uh, to not um, take the understanding of Mayavadi philosophies, uh, which makes it lose all the power to understand real mystery of the Gita. And finally, he says, if individuality refers to empirical universe, then there is no need of teaching by the Lord. Okay, the plurality of the individual soul and the Lord is an eternal fact. So, Prabhupada is saying that the individuality, the uniqueness of a soul uh, is uh, is eternal fact. It's not for a temporary being. It is an eternal, and it is confirmed by the Vedas as above, like Katha Upanishad. Here, Prabhupada also says, gives the reference from the Katha Upanishad, Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam. And Mm, here is the explanation of the text above, the verse, the shloka, where Krishna says in the first line, never was there a time where he was not existing, like not existing. Neither was Arjuna nor all these kings were not existing, and neither in the future they will cease to exist, like all these kings. All of us will not cease to exist uh, in the future, and there will be not a time in the future also they will not exist. We can consider like we are eternal, we are eternal beings. Just this body is a temporary thing, and we are not this body, and we are the souls, and we are in the human body conditioned in this lifetime. And that's it for this verse. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Vishwa Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.